Turn around for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
okay, I'm going to take two. I'm going to take two.
That doesn't change anything. You still are going to be arrested.
For what? You don't have any proof on me.
No, ma'am, I do.
GloRilla just got hit with a massive sentence after cops found a fat stash of weed in her spot.
My mama always say she marked me, but I ain't never feel no special than none of the other kids. We all was treated the same. It's just growing up, my mama had me near her. Like, I was like, right hand.
Add that to her past DUI and reckless driving charges, and suddenly Memphis's top female rapper might never touch a mic again. The rise and fall? It's getting real ugly. On July 22nd, 2025, the Memphis Queen was booked in Forsyth County, Georgia, on felony charges. Possession of marijuana and a controlled substance. But don't get it twisted. It ain't like she was out here hustling on the block or caught in some high-speed chase. Here's what really went down. While Glo was outperforming at the WNBA All-Star Weekend in Indianapolis, some low-life crooks broke into her house. Yup, straight-up home invasion while she was doing her thing on stage. And guess what the cops did when they pulled up to check the scene?
I used to sing Amazing Grace. I used to sing this song called Encourage Yourself.
You were really a singer.
Yeah, I used to be singing in church. Like, I had a good voice. And then, once I had got in high school, we weren't going to church like that. When I got in high school, then when I got in high school, I had started smoking weed.
Forget the singing.
Instead of hunting down the ones who broke into her home, they went snooping around and found some weed in her bedroom. And that was enough for them to slap cuffs on her. Wild, right? So she called the police because her spot got violated, her fam was shaken up, and her stuff got jacked. And they flipped the whole script on her. Glo ended up getting booked like she was the criminal, not the victim. She had to cough up a $22,260 bond, all because of a personal stash that was chilling in her own house while she was out of town. Make it make sense. And Glo? She didn't stay quiet. She clapped back hard on Twitter, and it went crazy. Over 3.6 million views on her post.
Told you and your manager every day that we was in LA with Saweetie, that labels are going to try to sign you because of FNF, so watch out. I also told you to let me know when labels reach out so we can be on the same page, but you still went and signed my song without telling me.
Where she said, "My house got home invaded Saturday while I was in Indianapolis performing for the WNBA All-Star Game, and instead of focusing on finding the suspects, they focus on some cannabis." Facts! But to understand how it came to this, we gotta rewind the story. This ain't no regular rags to riches tale. This is survival, struggle, and South Memphis grit at its core. Imagine growing up with 9 siblings, 6 brothers, 4 sisters, all packed into one crib in South Memphis. And if you know that area, you know it's one of the roughest zones in the South. We talking no luxuries, barely enough food, sleeping on air mattresses like it's a king-size bed, and making it through the week felt like a win. Real life grind. But Gloria? She was never just another name in that packed-out South Memphis house. Her mama saw something special from day one. Gave her the middle name Hallelujah. While her brothers were stuck with names like Carmichael and her sisters got stuck with Nicole, Glo had that divine spark right in her name. Now here's what's gonna blow your mind, especially if you only know her for turning up with street anthems and wild bars. Before GloRilla was shouting FNF through your speakers, she was deep in the church, like real deep. We talking every single Sunday, no excuses, front row type devotion. She was singing gospel like Amazing Grace and Encourage Yourself. And this girl had real vocals. She wasn't just built for the mic. She was blessed with pipes that could have taken her down the gospel road for real. But y'all already know how it is. The streets got a sneaky way of calling out to young souls.
And we're done made so much money from FNF, and I haven't made not one red cent other than shows, but I'm still prospering because guess what? I can rap in real life and ain't no MF one-hit wonder. I wrote every single lyric and every single song I ever put out. And even after all this, I still got love for Hit Kid because we came up together, even though he'd been going behind my back ever since the song blew up.
And once high school hit, that holy path started to fade out. Church attendance dropped, and next thing you know, Gloria started messing with that loud pack. Weed started creeping in, and the choir was left behind. The mic stayed, But it wasn't for singing hymns no more. That pivot right there, that's when the rap star was born. Fast forward to early 2022, and boom, Glo links up with producer Hit Kid, and magic gets made. They cooked up FNF, Let's Go, and it changed everything. This wasn't just a hot track. It was lightning in a bottle. You can't fake that kind of energy. FNF exploded. TikTok owned. Billboard, Hot 100, smashed. Grammy nomination, secured. But here's the real. That song wasn't just catchy, it was a cultural moment. FNF turned into a whole movement. It spoke for every woman tired of getting played, tired of babysitting broke dudes with no ambition. It gave voice to girls ready to level up without some dusty man holding them back. The message couldn't be louder. I don't need no man to pay my bills, gas me up, or tell me I'm worth something. I already know I'm that girl.
And so when I had finally linked with him, it was on the yacht. We had met on the yacht and stuff, and we was just chopping it up. And then the rest was history.
How you get to Gotti last, though? Gotti right there in Memphis.
Right, because it's like, I don't know. I probably was scared.
But success in the rap game, it always comes with drama, and FNF was no exception. Right after the track blew up, Hit Kid, the producer behind that banger, came out swinging, claiming GloRilla and CMG were moving shady, trying to snatch ownership of the song without keeping him in the loop. That's the kind of sneaky behind-the-scenes drama that pops off the second a hit starts stacking millions. Everyone wanted their cut of the cash, and fast. But this early tension, that was just the warm-up. The music industry is packed with vultures and snakes, and when a young artist catches fire like Glo did, they all come crawling out, ready to test her. Major labels started circling like hawks, flying her out, booking VIP meetings, whispering sweet promises about fame and fortune. But Glo wasn't just book smart, she had street sense. She didn't fall for the flash. She took her time, moved smart, and peeped the game before signing anything.
Soon as I pulled up and we was on the yacht, I instantly hooked up to the aux, played all my unreleased music, and he was just, we was just on the yacht vibing to all my unreleased music, I guess. So he was like, it just felt right. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he believed in me. Like he believed.
She spent 2 whole weeks fielding offers from the biggest names in the biz. But when she finally sat down with Yo Gotti, everything changed. Glo was a little skeptical at first. Gotti was a Memphis heavyweight with serious street cred, and she knew signing with someone from the same city could get complicated. But what flipped the switch wasn't just Gotti's money or his reputation, it was the vision. While other labels were drooling over FNF, treating her like a one-hit wonder, Gotti saw the bigger picture. He saw Glo the artist, not Glo the viral trend. When she played him her unreleased tracks, right there on his yacht no less.
Enlighten me on who you are. You sing, you
No, because you still gonna pick on me. You don't matter who I am.
pick on you. I'm not picking on you. You're
'Cause I'm
driving and I can smell alcohol off your breath.
But I'm not drunk. I can tell you this.
He didn't just nod politely. He was locked in, fully focused. He knew she had range, potential, a catalog that could shake up the industry. Gotti wasn't trying to ride one wave, he wanted to build a legacy. He believed Memphis was still running the game, and Glo was next in line to wear the crown. But success? It paints a big target on your back, especially when you're young, loud, and winning.
Yeah, I'm on your TV.
Ma'am?
I said, I'm on your TV.
On my TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
So get this over with, because I'm not drunk.
Right after locking in her deal with CMG and riding high off FNF, the system came knocking. April 2024 hit hard. Glo got pulled in Gwinnett County, Georgia on DUI charges. Now, yeah, DUI arrests happen to celebs all the time. But this one was different. The body cam footage dropped, and what it showed? Cold-blooded. Before she even said a word, the energy was off. She was already being treated like a criminal, like they had her guilty before any evidence was even on the table. The whole vibe was off, like she was being watched from the moment her name started ringing in the industry. Even after going through all those field sobriety tests and hearing the officer throw out shady claims about how she was performing, GloRilla stayed solid and stood on her innocence.
Under informants.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
You're
I'm
under
gonna
arrest.
take this. I'm gonna take this.
That doesn't change anything. You still are going to be arrested.
Oh, what?
Okay.
You don't have any proof on me?
No, ma'am, I do.
The footage didn't show no wild behavior. It showed a woman looking confused, frustrated, and slowly catching on to the fact that the whole game was rigged against her. That 2024 arrest? It should have been a wake-up call. Not just for Glo, but for anybody watching how the system deals with young, successful black artists. But instead of backing off and showing her some fairness, it looked like law enforcement was just getting started.
Like I said, I never want nobody to have that much power over me where I can't eat.
Yeah.
No.
I be telling people, when you get to that, you just got to drink protein shakes and Ensures. That's the only way.
You don't even be wanting to drink it. I be having to force myself, and it's like, what am I doing? I can't eat this.
Meanwhile, Glo's career was going crazy. Her collab with Cardi B on Tomorrow 2 had the whole rap game tuned in. People weren't just noticing her, they were watching her rise. She was making a name as one of the realest voices in the industry. But the bigger the spotlight, the more people dig into your business. And not all of that attention came from a good place. The pressure of fame started creeping into her personal life too. She'd already gone through a heartbreak that had her so down, she couldn't even eat right for weeks. And the nonstop attention? It was eating away at her mental health and the people around her. That raw emotion she shared in interviews made her super relatable to fans everywhere, but it also made her a target. People saw her vulnerability and used it against her. The legal drama didn't stop either.
Forsyth County Sheriff's Office said that the deputies responded to a report of a burglary in progress Saturday around 1:30 a.m. at a residence in the Atlanta suburbs. The sheriff's office says 3 suspects entered the house when an armed occupant fired at the intruders. GloRilla was not home at the time of the burglary, the sheriff's office said. The 3 suspects fled. No injuries have been reported in the incident.
Beef with former producers was bubbling. Business deals started going left. And through all that, she was still expected to keep her image clean, drop hits, and act like nothing was wrong. Most people would have cracked. But how Glo handled the backlash, that showed what she was really made of. In August 2024, she got called out for using an offensive lyric in a track. Now, a lot of artists get defensive or try to brush it off, but not Glo. She stood up, owned it, and flipped the whole situation. She went back and reworked the lyric in her song, Me and My BH Got Naughty, then dropped the updated version on X, formerly Twitter, on August 24th, 2024. Fans had her back, flooding the comments with love. One even said, "Okay, Naughty, a considerate queen." Another said, "Other artists should take notes." But even with all that growth and accountability, peace didn't last long. When she dropped her debut album Glorious in October 2024, it should have been a moment to celebrate. But instead, it sparked another round of controversy. Glo's debut album Glorious had folks talking, but it was Rain Down on Me that really stirred the pot. The track featured gospel royalty like Maverick City Music, Kirk Franklin, Chandler Moore, and Kara Sheard. But instead of it being celebrated as a full-circle moment, some people in the gospel community threw shade, questioning why these respected artists would collab with Glo, who's known for her raw lyrics and explicit bars. But her day ones came ready with receipts. They reminded everyone that Glo didn't just stumble into a church for clout. She grew up in it. She sang in the choir, served every Sunday, and those gospel roots run deep. This wasn't no clout-chasing move. It was a personal return to where it all started. Glo was bridging her past with her present, and she wasn't letting anybody rewrite her story. And she didn't stop there. Glo kept speaking out, loud and proud, especially when it came to body image and plastic surgery. When trolls tried to body shame her,
Ms. Woods was out of town when her residence became a target for a group of home invaders who most likely knew she wasn't there. What they didn't know was she had family staying with her that were traumatized by the violent entrance of this group, who grabbed high-value jewelry before taking off once they realized the home wasn't vacant. Founding law firm adds, when her family members did the right thing and called law enforcement instead of investigating the violent home invasion and theft at Mrs. Wood's home, they instead sought a search warrant when they spotted what they believed was a small amount of marijuana.
She clapped back without blinking. No, I'm not getting a BBL. I already feel like the thickest, baddest in the world. That's confidence, and fans loved it. By July 2025, Glo had fully leveled up. She was performing at major events like the WNBA All-Star Weekend. Her name was everywhere, and she was building a legacy that her younger self could have only dreamed of. She was booked, blessed, and unstoppable. But just when everything seemed solid, life threw her a wild curveball. On the night of July 20th, 2025, while Glo was in Indianapolis rocking the stage in front of thousands, living her dream, some grimy opportunists broke into her Georgia home. These crooks knew she wasn't there, and they took full advantage. 3 suspects forced their way in, but one of her armed family members was ready and let off shots, sending them running. Still, they got away with stolen jewelry and left her family shaken to the core. The trauma, real, the violation, deep. Glo's sense of safety got ripped apart in one night. But here's where the story takes a messed up turn. Instead of going all in to find the criminals who invaded her home, traumatized her loved ones, and stole her property, the police focused on something else. A stash of weed they found in her bedroom closet. Think about that for a second. A successful black woman calls the cops after her home gets broken into, and the response? Arrest her for possession! Not chase down the real criminals, not protect the victim, just flip the script and make her the problem. That's the part that'll have you seriously questioning how justice really works in this country. We talking about a substance that's legal in a ton of states and decriminalized just about everywhere else. And yet, the part that really gets under your skin, as of the latest updates, no arrests have been made for the actual break-in. That's right, the ones who broke into Glo's house, terrorized her fam, and jacked her stuff, still walking free like nothing happened. But Glo, the victim in this whole nightmare, she's the one facing felony charges that could tear down everything she's built. This ain't justice, it's backwards as hell. So what's next for the queen? When news of Glo's arrest hit the internet, the reaction was instant, and it was explosive. Social media lit up with outrage, not just from fans, but from people all across the country who saw the truth for what it was. Another case of a flawed system coming hard for the wrong person.
Exactly.
But like, where did this come from? I never heard somebody say that until you said it.
Seriously?
You didn't make that up?
I actually didn't make that up.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know where I saw this at, but I saw a post, they said, crackheads be giving out the best advice. One of them just walked up to me and said, at the end of the day, to take out of him.
Folks weren't quiet either. They called it what it was, punishing the victim while the real criminals walked away untouched. But what hit the hardest? Glo's own response. She didn't go ghost. She didn't sugarcoat it. She owned her story and put the truth out there. Her tweets after the arrest were raw, real, and straight up heartbreaking. She posted, "My house got home invaded Saturday while I was in Indianapolis performing for the WNBA All-Star Game, and instead of focusing on finding the suspects, they focus on some cannabis." That post hit 3.6 million views because people felt that pain. Then she followed it up with a post that shut everything down. So no, I wasn't busted. 2, my house got robbed. 3, I wasn't home. And the final blow? Long story short, my house gets home invaded, and I'm the only one that gets arrested. So that's T. With a shrug emoji that said it all, frustrated, tired, but still standing tall. Let's break this thing down step by step, because the facts matter. The Forsyth County Sheriff's Office got a call around 1:30 a.m. A burglary was in progress at Glo's spot in the Atlanta suburbs. 3 suspects had broken in while she was hundreds of miles away, performing in Indianapolis. So what do we really got here? A clear-cut crime, breaking and entering, burglary, home invasion, and we got clear victims. Glo's family, who had to defend themselves in their own home against armed intruders. And yet the spotlight ain't on the ones who did the dirt. It's on her. That's the part that don't sit right with anybody paying attention. We got clear criminals here. 3 suspects broke in, snatched jewelry, and dipped as soon as they realized Glo's house wasn't empty. But somehow, in this twisted excuse for an investigation, the police decided the real priority wasn't chasing them down. It was digging through Glo's personal things and slapping her with a weed charge. They didn't just show up. They came deep. Canine units, drone teams, a search warrant, all of that to go through her closet. And when they found what they called a significant amount of marijuana sitting in plain view in her master bedroom closet, they acted like they cracked some major case. Here's where it gets downright maddening. Glo's legal team, led by attorney Drew Findling, dropped a statement that called this whole mess out for what it is. Backwards and broken. They made it clear. Glo's family did the right thing by calling the cops after a violent home invasion. But instead of chasing the real threat, law enforcement locked in on some cannabis and launched a whole search like they were busting a cartel. Read that again. No arrest warrants have been issued for the people who broke in. The ones who terrorized her family, stole from her home, and invaded her privacy are still out here free, untouched. But Glo, the one who wasn't even there when it happened, is facing felony charges that could land her years behind bars. This ain't just about weed, and it ain't just about policy. This is about a broken system that criminalizes success, especially when it comes from a young black woman who made it out the mud without asking nobody for a handout. It's about power, control, and keeping folks in their place. And Glo ain't the only one who sees what's really going on. The hip-hop community, activists, and regular folks are all speaking out, asking the same hard questions. Where's the justice? Who's being protected? How is arresting the victim making anyone safer? But the most powerful clapback? It didn't come from a lawyer, a manager, or some press release. It came from Glo herself, through her actions, through how she's holding her head high in spite of everything they're throwing at her, facing felonies, fighting for her name, and still refusing to let the system break her. GloRilla didn't fold. She showed up. Despite everything, she hit the stage for her scheduled Glo Bash at the FedEx Forum in Memphis and gave the crowd everything she had. No cancellations, no hiding. She stood tall and proved that the system couldn't break her spirit. From those early days singing in her church choir to now being one of the realest voices in hip-hop, Glo's journey has always been about rising up and bringing others with her. She's used her platform to speak out, to inspire, and to shine light on the truth. That's rare in this game. But what Glo's facing right now? It ain't just about her. It's about a pattern, a cold reality, where young, successful black artists get criminalized just for winning. It's like the system stays looking for a reason to remind them, no matter how far you go, you still play by our rules. Right now, Glo's staring down felony charges, marijuana, and controlled substance possession. If convicted, she could face serious prison time. But even beyond that, these charges could block her from international travel, limit where she can perform, and threaten the empire she's been building from the ground up. And the irony? It hits hard. This is a young woman who made it out the struggle, who went from sleeping on air mattresses to running a multi-million-dollar brand, who gives back to her community and lifts up the people around her. This is the type of success story the world claims to celebrate, but instead of support, she's being targeted. This ain't happening in a vacuum either. Glo already got hit with that DUI back in April 2024. It's starting to look like her success put a target on her back, a level of surveillance and heat that most celebs don't deal with. It's like law enforcement can't resist trying to take her down. The fight ahead is real. With felony charges hanging over her, Glo and her legal team are up against a system that's already shown it ain't playing fair. But if we've learned anything from her rise, it's that she's not the type to back down. Her attorney, Drew Findling, came out swinging, calling her arrest a disturbing window into the true priorities of law enforcement. That wasn't just legal talk, it was a bold statement that hit home for people who've seen the same kind of injustice in their own communities. We don't know how this will all shake out. The legal system moves slow. There are no guarantees, but one thing is undeniable. GloRilla's already won in the ways that really matter. She's shown the world who she is, a fighter, a leader, and a voice that can't be silenced. She's inspired millions to never fold under pressure, to stand tall when life comes crashing down, and to keep grinding no matter what's thrown at you. Whether the charges get dropped, justice gets served, or this becomes just another example of the system failing its people, Glo's impact is permanent. Her influence on hip-hop, on culture, and on young people worldwide is already etched in stone. Thanks for watching. If this story hit you like it hit us, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know your thoughts below. Smash that bell so you don't miss what's next, and tap one of the videos on your screen to dive into more wild stories just like this one. See you in the next one.